than someone compassionate, maybe. Okay, what about boundaries? So I think boundaries are very important as well. Setting the boundaries is very crucial in any type of communication. Like setting boundaries is like showing what you cannot cross. Of course, there are physical boundaries. So like, and in while saying physical boundaries, I don't mean like the walls or maybe the cages. I'm saying that it's something like a personal space, or maybe not letting people touch you or touch your belongings, so that they show respect through this. So these boundaries are, of course, very different according to the roles too. For example, usually you would not let your teacher hug you or let your classmate touch your personal belongings without permission, but you would allow this to do this with your friend or maybe your partner. So we need to learn how to set different boundaries, but these are not only physical boundaries. We have emotional boundaries. For example, this can concern sharing some information about ourselves, or maybe something that you are not comfortable about speaking to everyone. Like if I am very sensitive about, let's say, my height, I don't want people to joke around about me being short or something like this, of course. So humor too, right? We joke about different things with friends and family. I wouldn't let my family to hear the things that I joke around with my friends, usually because this is very personal in its own space. And also we have technological boundaries. This is a very touchy topic nowadays. It concerns like leaving your phone to somebody, or to what extent you are ready to share on your social media, or maybe you want to add a friend on Facebook and you are not comfortable with adding them if you are not too familiar with them. Okay, so we do not usually consider boundaries ahead of time, but we do realize them a little later, especially when they are crossed. And we understand it as soon as we understand that we didn't really feel good when these boundaries were broken a little bit. So first, can you please tell me or share with me what boundaries do you have? Maybe you are not. I can say that I really like it when somebody closes the door after they enter the room, and this is a personal boundary for me. While you're writing your answers, I can share another story with you. This is a story where I couldn't really protect my boundaries, or maybe the person did not really respect them. This happened to me at university. It was one of my professors. This professor didn't really wasn't really that professional, maybe in the well, there was a time where this professor used to like asking personal questions very much about who we were friends with, who we were dating, etc. etc. What about our family? Who does my mother like work as, or something like this? So I couldn't really protect my boundaries, but I was very, very uncomfortable with that because I came here to get some knowledge, but not to overshare about my personal life, of course. And how do we protect these boundaries too? Okay, let's see if you wrote something. You didn't really write anything about the boundaries. Please share. So how do we communicate on this? One of the examples is to say directly, not aggressively, of course. For example, somebody takes your milk at work and you say, well, please, can you stop doing this? Or maybe we can do that together for the next time. Or you can make it a little bit more passively, like write a note to somebody, or take like make a hint so that they understand it a little bit later. What I did in my case was that uh, in the very end, after the faculty evaluation, I have written it in the comments that I do not really like it. I did not enjoy that the professor was asking about my personal things. So this was my way. Okay, Shahnaza says that she's always very positive, in a positive, but negative things are always impact me. Okay, I see. So setting boundaries can be very emotional boundaries. Yes, this is what I value as well very much. Okay, so That's the part about boundaries that we have, as you weren't really. I'm aggressive a bit, says Cesar. Okay, how is that? Could you please elaborate on that?
Somebody without like asking a permission or something like with touch. I don't want like I want like to act properly. Like if it's like because I'm acting like that, whatever I want to have, for example, I'll ask the person that has it. Like, but while they come and take those things that you don't want to keep, for example, or even you'll give it while he or she firstly asks. So that's why I'm saying like I'm a bit aggressive. But now we have studied like conflict resolution, so I might like solve this problem.
Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing. Well, I believe that setting boundaries is very important, not only to have the relationship with people, but also for your mental well-being as well. If you feel like you are respected and you can kind of protect yourself, it makes you feel a lot better than just sitting there and watching somebody being disrespectful to you, of course. All right. So now, as we spoke about boundaries, I want to speak about different ways of communication. So I am differentiating without between these two types, which are indirect and direct. Uh, People who communicate indirectly usually add more details. They like to add extra things, like go around when speaking about one story, go left and right, go around the issues without actually saying about them. So this type of people usually report. They do it to build relationship. And they tell you all of those little details in the conversation so that they can keep conversation going and so that you can find similarities between each other and continue building these relationships. I consider myself to be the indirect communicator. I really like to speak about like different things when I mention just one thing, so that the other person can find some similarities and we can continue speaking with that. And this is my type. Well, there are also another type of people which are indirect. They communicate usually to find solutions or to get things done. They keep things like simple, do not see the point in speaking if it has no meaning, or they will not find like a conclusion to it. So usually while they are being supportive, they do not like to listen. They usually give advice to you, and sometimes these different types might conflict because their goals are completely different. And what is important here to understand is what a person needs to get from you while you are speaking from your conversation. Maybe they want to get some empathy, maybe they want to get some advice, maybe both, or maybe they just want you to listen and be an active listener, somebody to be there for them. And here we have a little video that I will show you about different communications. And after this video, can you please, the gold medal. Mirza says, I'm funny and always open any opinions. Love to help people when they want my help. Very great. What about the middle, the golden middle between the communication? Yes, of course, the people can combine different parts, but for the most, they are separated. Maybe somebody is somewhere in the middle, but I don't really see that, at least not without a person wanting to get there in the middle to understand other people. Now we will watch this video about different communications, and you can tell me in the chat, or maybe say something about what do you think are the goals of each person in this video. Sorry, can you hear the sound while it's playing? No, you cannot. Oh my god. Hmm. What maybe I can turn on the subtitles and it will be easier for you. You still cannot hear the video. Sorry, no sound too. I don't really know what the problem can be. Can I ask somebody to please help me? The link to the video. Oh, that's a very good idea. Let me share the link to the video. Okay, so this is the video that I found, which is called, it's not about nail. You can see that there are two different types of people communicating. I have sent the link to the chat. If you could please follow it and watch it. It's only 2 minutes long, and maybe we can discuss it a little too. Okay, thank you, Shahnaza, for the idea. As soon as you are done, you can write in the chat what do you think about this video.
It's just, there's all this pressure, you know? And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless. And I don't know if it's gonna stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever gonna stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'll bet if we got that out of there...
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing...
You
Ademi, your
always do
microphone
this.
is off.
You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
Thank you.
See, I
So
don't...
Ozar said that calm versus aggressive. You might be correct here. Somebody behaves more calm and somebody more aggressive. But what I'm asking you is that what were the goals of each person? What did they want to get from each other? Mm-hmm. A woman needed listening. You are correct, Bayaman. Thank you. You can go ahead and unmute yourself to speak too. As for the man, he wanted to give an advice. You are correct, yes. And we see that these different two types of communications didn't really match that well. She wants maybe more attention, yes. Perhaps, Zara, you're correct. So we see how they can maybe conflict a little bit. Someone needs to share a story, someone wants to give advice, but what is important is to learn how to compromise between these two different scenarios, or in other situations as well. Okay, let's speak a little bit about compromising too. So, of course, people do not always want to do the same as you want, and it's very important to learn how to compromise with different people. Usually we would describe compromising as maybe taking parts of two different ideas and combining them together, or finding something in between, like the um, golden middle, like the silver lining, to make everyone satisfied. This is like listening to the other person's ideas and thinking how you can improve your own situation, how to make them feel better. However, it doesn't always work just from your side, because the other person too needs to make some steps into improving the situation or maybe the conflict that you might have. And I think it's very good when a person sees that you make some efforts in mitigating the conflict. So you can see that the other person is trying so hard, and you would like to, he would like or she would like to compromise too. And basically, uh, Zora says that my mic is off, but I'm pretty sure that it's on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, it may be the previous message.
Okay. Um, Very good, thank you. Okay, yes, Shahnaza, the problem and the way to find the solution, you are correct. And my advice here is to not set the ultimatum and make the first step into the compromising, so that the other person can see how compassionate you are and how ready you are to solve your conflict. Maybe you can sometimes introduce two choices to a person instead of one, so that it will be a little bit easier for you to communicate. Now, the last little activity that I have for you is these three little sentences, which maybe we can hear on everyday basis if you have aggressive surroundings. Um, can you try to make them a little bit softer, and that way that the other person who you are saying the sentences to would not get maybe aggressive in return? Try to compromise them a little. Let's start with the first one. This is the phrase that you can usually hear from people. You're always late. Shahnaza says, "Dear, why are you late?" This is a very good example. Instead of yelling at the person or saying very aggressively, you can say, "Please," or add some softer words like "dear." Ozar says, "Bro, next time be on time, please." Very good. You also show your relation to a person and how you maybe value your relationship between each other, but you also want to value the time that you have, right? I would say, what about if you're speaking not to someone dear or a coworker or your bro? What if it's a coworker, for example, or just a person that you need to have a meeting with?
Yeah, I want to say just one thing, that if a person like speaks with the like beloved person, like when he talks, for example, with his friends, he's more aggressive, like he's joking like this. But with the like anonymous persons, like for example, person will be like more polite to him. That's like my idea, I guess.
Oh, I see. That's actually a very good point that you have. We might sometimes come off as pretty aggressive towards our family or towards our friends because we know them for a long time, right? And you want to be a little bit more polite with your coworkers or maybe some other partners. That's a good point. I want you to come earlier next time, please. That's very good, Shotnaza. Yes, thank you. Okay, what about the second example? I can't talk with you when you're so emotional. Just calm down. Do you think it works? I think for many people, saying like "calm down" can come off as a little bit more passive aggressive, and might make them maybe a little bit more violent again. Do you think? Don't be so emotional. It's just a little game we lost. Maybe, who knows? What I like to do is to highlight the thing that hurt me. For example, if it's somebody who is late, I would say that "Mm, I have been like waiting for a long time here for you. Please, can you be right? Like just as you said, please be on time next time. Thank you." Or maybe when you're speaking with an emotional person, you can see that they won't listen to you, they're too emotional. You can say, maybe we can set off a little, wait a little until we became a little bit more calm. And maybe can you come a little bit later when I have finished my work? Is my mic off? I think I am speaking with my mic on. Yes, we can talk later. Take it easy, please. Very good. Shantaza is a very polite person and can see how to make the situations easier. Okay, and the last thing we have is you should have told me you have friends coming. Now I won't be able to study. This is something that I can say to my little sister maybe. We are setting off not a very nice mood here. Guys, you can also go ahead and unmute yourself and not write. Bayawan cannot hear me. Calm down, man. Read by sounds good. That would be better if you reminded me before your friend's visit. That's very good, Shahnaza. Thank you. Okay, my question is, can only Ozar and Shahnaza hear me? Bayaman says that he cannot hear you. Zora also says that uh, he or she cannot hear me.
And there is a function when we can mute you while you yourself um, mute, didn't mute you, but turn your microphone on. When you turn your microphone off, we cannot unmute it. But when you turn it on, we can mute it for ourselves, but it
Ah, I see.
can still be heard by others.
Okay, I see. So Bayaman and Zora, can you please check if you're I guess they can hear. Please check right, that's a little bit about compromising. Thank you for being so active. Now, for the end, I want to remind you again that no relationship can grow without proper amount of communication, and you shouldn't be afraid to speak to people because this is your best chance to build strong relationship with them. You just heard my voice. Thank you. Okay, and what I want to also mention is that sometimes it can be difficult to communicate with people if you don't start it by yourself. People are not mind readers, and they can be a little bit unattentive to some of your problems if you don't speak with them. So please don't be afraid. Now, if you have any questions or stories to share, you can write them in the chat, raise a hand, and mute yourself, and go ahead. That I'm sorry, Bayaman. Okay, Shahnaza, thank you very much. Okay, I see that nobody really wants to share any stories or ask questions. All right then. Then if you don't have anything else to add, I do not have also anything else to add. Oh, Shahnaza, you have a question? You can unmute yourself if you can speak.